In blockbuster testimony, Michael Lloyd, seen here in the blue denim shirt, took the stand for his brother Orville in the suit, who's accused of hacking to death his mother-in-law Marge Wise on April 10th this year. Michael Lloyd says he became suspicious of his sister-in-law Diane and started monitoring her activities in the mail that she was sending to his brother Orville. In May, he took a letter for her to the post office, but before mailing it, opened it and photocopied the letter. In an emotional, tear-choked voice, Lloyd read the letter recounting his sister-in-law's feelings since the day of the murder. She said, "I'm afraid of what the Lord has planned. I think God wants me to step forward and turn myself in now. I will take responsibility. My head, heart, and soul are sick and need help. I must confess, I'm sorry, I hurt you." She also talked about the drugs she took on the day of the murder. Cues? I don't know. Maybe not. Earlier in the day, police testified that Diane Lloyd gave a statement that she had taken some Quaaludes on the day of the murder and smoked marijuana every day. Because of the Jewish holidays, the trial will be recessed tomorrow. Both lawyers expected to go to the jury sometime on Friday. In Virginia Beach, Mike Deason, The Daily News. The jury got the case late this afternoon after hearing incredible testimony today from defendant Orville Lloyd's wife, Diane. First, she stunned the jury when she told them about an incestuous relationship she had with her father between the ages of 11 and 15. She recounted the story of how once he came to her for sexual relations, and she said no. He said he would kill himself if she did not have sex with him that night. The next morning, her father was dead. Although that was more than 15 years ago, Diane Lloyd said her mother always held her father's death against her. She says on the day of the murder, her husband Orville came to her and said he had had a fight with her mother. She was in the garage and hurt. She went in to see what was wrong, and her mother was on all fours and all of a sudden got angry and started attacking Diane verbally. She said she feared for herself, so picked up the closest object. That was the axe. And then she started to hit her mother 18 times with the axe. Orville came in, found her crying, and she said, "Look what I've done." Then tried to come up with a story to cover their actions and said that in the worst instance, Orville would admit that he did the murder when actually Diane was the one who had perpetrated the crime. But Commonwealth's attorney Andre Evans said that that was a concocted story and it did not make sense, and that in fact Orville Lloyd is the one who is the murderer. If the jury were to find him innocent, Diane Lloyd's testimony could not be used against her in a court unless police could come up with other evidence to show that she in fact was the one who murdered her mother. She would go free. In Virginia Beach, Mike Deason, The Daily News. It took the jury almost 5 hours to sentence Orville Lloyd to 5 years in the state penitentiary on a second-degree murder charge in the death of his mother-in-law, Marge Wise, after hearing incredible testimony from his wife earlier in the day. Diane Lloyd stunned the jury, first telling of an incestuous relationship she had with her father, who threatened to kill himself one night when she refused sexual relations with him. The next morning, he was found dead. Although that had happened more than 15 years ago, she said her mother always blamed her for her father's death, and that was the reason she did not have good relations with her mother. On April 10th, the morning of the murder, Diane testified that her husband, Orville, had argued with her mother, Marge Wise, in the garage. He came into the house saying he had hit her mother and she was hurt, and that Diane should check it out. When she got into the garage, she found her mother on all fours and angry, and she said she was afraid her mother was going to attack her, so she grabbed the nearest object, which was the hatchet, and started swinging it several times. When she realized what she had done, she sat down and started crying. Orville came into the garage, and she said, "Look what I have done." Diane said she came forward with a confession because she wants peace and forgiveness from the Lord. But the jury didn't buy the story, and despite her confession, authorities say they will not press charges against Diane Lloyd. The family of the victim, Margaret Wise, was extremely distraught after hearing the verdict and ran from the courtroom. Commonwealth's attorney Andre Evans said he was disappointed with the jury's findings. Lloyd will be eligible for parole in less than 1 year. In Virginia Beach, Mike Deason, The Daily News.